Just thank you, Miss Tina, for Solange and Beyonce, YouTube, Matthew, or whatever. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If not back, then just welcome. And whether it's your first or 50th time here, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to do a real quick, like all cream based product. Get ready with me because all of my eyeshadow brushes are dirty. Originally, I was going to talk about how diversity is a scam, coming off of the heels of Green Book winning Best Picture. And I was going to touch on how any sort of diversity or inclusion when it comes to those institutions will always just be pandering because none of them are actually interested in listening to Black people or other people of color and listening to our actual real stories because they only want to continue to listen to stories that make them feel good and do not challenge them and do not make them face their own racism. But then last night, Solange released When I Get Home, and I just want to celebrate her instead. Solange got me thinking about, celebrating true diversity within Black culture. I don't know that I will ever be able to articulate how seen I felt when I first heard True, her EP that was released back in 2010. I was like fresh out of high school and was living my life as an adult for the first time. I was only 20 in 2010, so like not truly an adult, but I thought I was grown. And figuring out what my Blackness meant to me and how I was going to express it and reconciling a lot of self-hate that I had, a lot of defenses that I had put up, going to a predominantly white high school in the suburbs, and like a middle-class suburb, and coming out of a space where it was like, I guess safe is the best word that I can think of, but where it was safe to be the white Black girl because there was no real, or not that I perceived as real at the time, ramifications on my life living that way. It wasn't until, like I said, I graduated from high school and got out of the echo chambers of that ninth circle of hell that is Chippewa Valley High School that I realized that I had damaged myself by codifying. Is that the word that I want? Let me Google it real quick. No, that's not the word that I want. Conforming. Let's go with that one, even though that's still not the word that I want. To certain ideals of what it meant to be the white Black girl. And literally all that boils down to was me not being interested in hip hop and hip hop culture at the time. High school teenagers, at least, the ones from 10, 15 years ago, were very monolithic in how you could portray yourself. Like, you had to be one way. Like, I don't think people realize how recent it has been that hip hop has become like the status quo as far as culture and music and fashion and the way that people speak. Back in the mid to late 2000s, it was still a very much like segregated world as far as your interests lie. At least in Southeast Michigan. My cat's drinking up, so I'll be right back. Say so! And so anyway, in high school, I was a weirdo screamo child. Listened to nothing but emo music. Thankfully, I was never like of the raw community, but that was a circle that I moved in. And I wouldn't even say that I was friends with the most popular kids in that sort of sphere. Like, I was still amongst the outcasts within the outcasts. So it was just like this weird freedom of expectation in regards to how much I had to stay in that lane. So as much as I was listening to like My Chemical Romance and Take It Back Sunday, I was also dabbling with Kate Bush and Depeche Mode and a lot of the music that my mom was listening to back when she was a teenager. And so I never really felt like I fit into one particular clique or group that was set up by my high school. Fast forward to 2010, True comes out. And it's the first time that I feel like I am seeing a Black artist create art and move in a way that felt genuine to me. Not calling other artists disgenuine, it's just that none of them ever truly like fell into place and clicked. It was like I was looking at somebody who also was not fitting into any sort of clique or group. She wasn't an indie girl the way that she and him was indie. She wasn't an R&B girl the way that, you know, Sierra and Ashanti were R&B girls. She wasn't a pop girl the way that her sister was a pop girl. She still wasn't like granola like Corinne Bailey Rae or Erykah Badu or India Arie. She was somebody who encapsulated all of those things but was still like none of them. And I had always felt, not always, by 2010, it was all of my interests, they were branching out from wanting to be white, which I never did. Never wanted to be white, but everybody perceived me as wanting to be white because of my interests. I knew who Solange was. I grew up watching the Proud Family, you know, but I had never experienced her art before. And I was like, this is something different. This woman is somebody special. And I think the reason why I connected with her so much was because music was how I started exploring my relationship with a Black cultural identity, because I definitely didn't feel like I had one. And so I was just started listening to like a bunch of different Black artists from a bunch of different genres through a bunch of different years. And that's how I stumbled across listening to Solange in general. By exploring all of those different Black artists, I started being able to see a bunch of different ways to be Black. And that, folks, is true diversity. Saw somebody who was Black in the way that I wanted to express how I feel about being Black. Now back to this most current album. I'm not from Houston. I'm a Northerner. But the Dirty South era of hip hop has a special place in my mind because that's the music I was listening to in secret when I was in middle school so that I could be a part of the conversation at school. Because I went to Detroit public schools up until the 8th, 9th grade, and then I transferred to a suburban school district. So Southern hip hop always takes me back to 6th, 7th, 8th grade. It reminds me of the last time that I felt super culturally connected to other Black people. This latest album that is a culmination of those two things in my life that I feel like greatly shaped my Black identity. I have no words for how it makes me feel other than good, amazing, seen, connected, unified. Like, oh, I saw this powerful post. I was watching other people's Instagram stories and this powerful post came up from this person on Instagram. I will have the person's name on the screen because I do not want to mispronounce it. But they said, diaspora life is whiteness forcefully assimilating you through a web of social, legal, and political means to the point that when you try to engage in a meaningful way with your people's culture, you end up feel like a white person appropriating your own culture. Felt that deep in my soul. And Solange is one of the artists that make me not feel that. I feel like I am of the last generation of Black people being made to feel like they are less Black because of their artistic interests. The impression that I get anyway from when I look at young artists online, I feel like they do not have the same stigmas that I felt that I had growing up, being interested in things that were not solely hip-hop based. And like I said, I could be wrong, but I really hope that I am not. I really hope that people are just out here letting Black people live in the various ways that we do, in the beautiful melting pot that is our culture, that is our art, that is our influence. As far as standout songs, I keep singing Way to the Show. Let me look at the track list real quick. My Skin, My Logo, Benz, Beltway, Dreams. Actually, the whole album, all of it is just so fire. I also would like to say that I no longer feel culturally disconnected from Black people because of the internet. Shout out to the internet, not the group, even though I love them too. I'm talking about, you know, the actual internet where we all connect with each other, which she brought back Black Planet, and I just, it's everything. Somebody on Black Planet said that getting on Black Planet after being on Facebook feels like talking in your real voice after getting home from your customer service job, and I screamed. I don't know, man. The long and short of it is if you have not listened to When I Get Home yet, listen to it. I'm about to book my second trip to Houston. I went to Houston in 2017. Pretty sure, yeah, 2017. That was the year that I saw Solange 3 times. Well, let me stop because it's about to stop recording. I saw Solange in Detroit, and Seattle, and in Houston. I'm hoping she has a tour. I have this feeling deep down in my soul that her and Beyonce are gonna go on tour together. I'm not gonna be able to handle that emotionally or financially. I'm gonna be getting the most expensive package that comes in, if that comes, because B7, I feel it crackling in the air. I knew that Solange was coming. I feel like they're gonna collab in some way, and my head is going to explode, and I'm going to spend all my money, take out a second mortgage so that I can follow them around the country as they do their thing. Not really. I would never be that irresponsible. I just love and appreciate her so much. And that's all I got. I'm done rambling now. All the products that I use will be listed in the description box down below, with the exception of the foundation, because that's being discontinued, and I don't like to talk about how beautiful things are leaving us for forever. So if you have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Thank you for sticking through me rambling and being a fangirl. Till next time, bye folks.